Day one, Athens at the Athens International Airport, and will be transported by our private driver to our beautiful Electrometropolis Hotel in the heart of the city, with gorgeous views of the Acropolis and a rooftop pool. There we can rest, relax, enjoy, and explore. Day two in Athens. After enjoying a glorious breakfast at the hotel, we will honor the goddess of Athena, patrona of Athens, and who the Acropolis was dedicated to, while we receive downloads from our personal tour guide of the Hilltop Acropolis complex. Then we will cool off, refuel, and deepen our understanding of ancient Greek life at the Acropolis Museum. For dinner, we will share a family-style meal at my friend's restaurant in Athens' hip neighborhood of Monastriaki that offers a modern dining experience paired with Greek wine, traditional bouzouki music, vibrant street art, and authentic Greek pleasure. This is where the cool kids play. Day three in Athens. After a sumptuous breakfast of Greek yogurt that's so thick a spoon will stand straight up in it, fresh coffee and orange juice and all the yummy hot items, we will enjoy a tour of the bustling city center, the ancient agora, and visit the small altar of Aphrodite and her husband Hephaestus's temple, and then enjoy a late lunch in the Plaka, which is the oldest and most charming part of Athens. Then we can take a break and then luxuriate in free time, pool time, or spa time. There is plenty to uncover between marble stoas and avant-garde cultural centers to sunsets from rooftop bars. You can also we'll also have our private driver take us up to Lycabettus Hill, which offers 360-degree vistas of the cityscape, while Attica's wilderness is ideal for hiking and nature. So it's just a wonderful, beautiful, fun park to play in, which we can go up to. On day four, we will leave the city behind to travel back in time along the Gulf of Corinth to do rituals at the sacred sites of Aphrodite, goddess of love, and Hera, her rival, goddess of home. These rituals of remembering will reunite you with your ancient Greek self, Vestal virgins and sailors alike. We will pass through the sacred gates of a Byzantine fortress, process through the sacred grove where sensuality perfumes the air, make our way up to the remains of the temple of Aphrodite, and then from there, we'll see a breathtaking view of the Ionian Sea to the west and the Aegean Sea to the east. And this is the place where I had so many flashbacks to my past lives here with Aphrodite at her temple. Continuing day four, it's a big day and a lot of fun. We will cross the historic Diolkolos passageway, thought to have been constructed in 600 BC, used for both trade and warfare to drag ships from one sea to the other without having to sail around the Peloponnesus, shortening ancient adventures significantly. Literally hand-dug passageway through a country. Amazing. Our next short stop is at the ancient city of Corinth, known for its architectural and artistic innovations, and then to the modern city of Corinth for a well-deserved lunch. We will pay homage to Aphrodite's rival Hera at her ancient and sacred residence on the north side of the Gulf. And then the cherry on top, we will go for a sunset swim in the bay before we make our way to the beachside Loutraki Wyndham Hotel for the night. Day 5, Loutraki. After such a big day, today's all about rest and relaxation. We will take it slow in the morning, enjoying the hotel breakfast, rooms, and pools. Then you can opt into a spa day soaking in the healing waters of the Loutraki thermal spa, or choose to walk, shop, and snack in the adorable town and take a dip in the calm coastal waters there. Then our private driver will magically transport us to our resort hotel in the mystical mountain village of Arachova at the foot of the tallest peak in Greece, the majestic Mount Parnassus. After fueling up on breakfast, day 6 in Delphi, at our resort. So sorry, after fueling up on breakfast at our resort hotel in Arachova, we will wind our way through the hills about half an hour away to the birthplace of democracy, Delphi, with its stunning views. Chakra aligning hike through 7 levels of ruins, including an ancient Greek theater and stadium, to channel the oracle of Delphi herself. There we will lunch at the museum and anoint ourselves with the sacred spring water. Dinner this evening will be at home with the godmother of Arachova and Sasha's yaya, my yaya, Froso, and her family for a traditional Greek meal. There's Froso in the picture. So day 7, Arachova. We will linger leisurely in the town for some shopping and sightseeing in the morning, and we'll lunch at the tea house before boarding our minibus to tour the countryside as we make our way to Greece's busy port of Piraeus in preparation for our travel to the islands the next day. Isn't my Froso so cute? All right, day 8, Antiparos. So today we start our island immersion. The ferry to Paros leaves early at 7 a.m. or 7:30, but once you've boarded the boat, you can relax on the open waters, enjoy coffee, fresh squeezed orange juice, and fresh baked spanakopita or spinach pie, and other Greek staples for brunch while we take in the sea air and gorgeous views. Also great people watching on these ferries. This is a true modern day Greek experience where you can allow yourself to remember sailing the seas in previous lifetimes. We will end our journey of the day by taking a smaller ferry to the adjacent island of Antiparos, where Tom Hanks has a home and has been adopted as an honorary Greek citizen. Day 9, Antiparos. This is welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here. I will not torture you with this entire video. Please feel free to watch it.
Also on Antiparos, we're all going to have our own private rooms. Just so
oops. Okay, there we go. I know many of you have watched it. Hi, Irisanya and Venus/Aphrodite behind you. Hi, my sweet dad. You might notice we have the same last name. Hi, Marie, and hi, Kimberly. And I'm hoping that we'll have a few more last minute joiners here. And I felt called to sort of create some kind of space for this. So my plan, Irisanya, was to read my ode to Aphrodite to you all. Does that work for you? Okay, great. So this I wrote after, actually weirdly on a flight after reading this book here by Lorelei and Companions about Aphrodite. But it inspired me to write my own poem for her. So just to kind of bring her energy into the space, give you a little tingle ideally, I will read this now. So, Ode to Aphrodite, offering. If love is all there is, and you are the goddess of love, I give myself over to your majesty, to your mystery. I offer you my devout devotion. I offer you all my swims in Mother Ocean. Sweet Cypriot, born from sacrifice and sea foam, emerged in full grace and beauty, shining like the sun, men fall to their knees, bending humble to your golden rays. I offer you the music of sobs in the moonlight, the rain from my eyes forming salt-stained crystals on my cheeks as I yearn for past lovers and love affairs. I offer you each bubbling bead and droplet of sweat that arises from the skin of impassioned lovemaking. I offer you my pleasure and thank you for the throes of ecstasy I experience. I offer you coinage and bills as a pittance toward the abundance in your purse. I offer every pearl necklace ever dripped upon my chest. The wet saliva of my husband's kisses as his tongue touches mine is yours as well. The dreamy, loving smiles we share, yours. The delightful meals we eat, the seeds I plant in our garden, all yours. As you are the golden, glorious mother of seeds, juicy fruits, and growth between partners, I offer these to you, powerful Urania, if you'll have them. And if you'll have me, I offer myself to you, O fiery, fierce, passionate, compassionate, gentle Aphrodite. Thank you for teaching me the art of play, endowing me with curiosity and adventure, so that I may explore all pleasures available in the unexpected. Thank you for glazing my eyes with the sight to see beauty in every body. I offer my palms to you so that you may embody and guide them over smooth, sumptuous skin. I offer my nerve endings to you so we may begin to know endless pleasure. I offer my clitoris quakes, my nipple nibbles, my bouncy booty, and all the tingly touches. I offer my studiousness to you as you school me in the vastness of love. Hail and welcome, Aphrodite. You were muted. I wanted to know what you said because I'm blushing.
Oh, I just said hail and welcome.
Oh, thank you. Well, hail and welcome to all of you who are here to curiously learn more about this trip or who are already going on this trip. We may have stragglers. I know we will have one cameo appearance from our potential documentarian, Larry. But in the meantime, we will get started. So, one of the opportunities of tonight is that you get to ask any question that you have and answer them. Another opportunity is that you get to meet Irisanya Moon, sorry. And she's going to lead part of this meeting anyway, so you can kind of get into the feel of this amazing human. And we want to know, from you, what are you looking forward to most? What do you want to get out of the trip? What, if there was any like speck of glimmer of something that you could have and take home with you on the way back, that would be yours forever, what would that be? So there he is. What good timing. So I would love to just briefly go maybe around the Zoom circle. Welcome, Larry. I literally just said you'll be popping in and then you were there. That's great. So I'd just love to know, what would I love to know? I'd love to know your name. I'd love to know your pronouns. I'd love to know where you are, like where you live, like where you are. And if you've been to Greece before, where was your favorite place you went, or what adventure did you have that was amazing? And what else do we want to know? I think we're going to get into a lot more no's, so that's probably good for now. So I'm Sasha. My pronouns are she or they. I'm in Washington State, and I have been to Greece before. This will be my 7th time, and it's very difficult to pinpoint a time and place that is my favorite, but one of them is, I'll say two. One is arachova, where my mother introduced me to this amazing woman who's become and adopted me as like her Greek granddaughter and my Greek yaya. And then Antiparos, in this little Antiparos hotel where we'll be staying, which is I've become friends with. They were friends of a friend, and now they've become my friends, who own this hotel, and they have a beautiful, adorable little family. They make, they grow grapes and make wine, and siparo it's called. So I'm just so thrilled to share those places with you all. Well, who else? Would you like to go next, Irisanya? Makes sense.
I can do that. Hi, I am Irisanya Moon. My pronouns are she and they. I am currently located about an hour north of San Francisco. I have not been to Greece physically. In other ways, I feel like I've been there a whole bunch. So I'm excited about all of it. I'm excited about making magic on the land that I have pictured in my head with the beings that I know very well, I think. And I'm excited too to be with people who are, sharing in a purpose of curiosity and wonder and what the heck are we doing here and what does it have to tell us? So that is what I'm excited about. Also, all the magic for Aphrodite, sign me up.
Thank you. Yeah, why don't you go, Larry? That's great.
Ooh, okay. Perfect. Hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Hi, I'm Larry Sands. I'm in Texas right now. Been here for the last couple years, moved from Los Angeles. Never have been to Greece. When Sasha and I were starting to talk, and she was telling me everything about Greece, I was like, oh my God, it sounds so beautiful. And not only that, and obviously romantic and everything that goes along with everything that I've ever heard about Greece, which is freaking awesome. So yeah, it's fantastic. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Thanks, Larry. Awesome. Maybe I should say this. I didn't say this before, but I'm recording this meeting in case that we want to share it with the humans out there in the world. And so if you don't want to be on camera for the humans of the world out there, you can just turn your video off and then just unmute yourself to talk. So I apologize for not saying that right away. But if you're not shy, great, thanks, be on camera and be with us. I'd love to hear from each of you. Mom, would you like to go next? She would, if she could find that dang unmute button. Let's see. Let's see, does that help you?
Yes.
There we go. Okay, great.
I was clicking on it, but it just wasn't responding. My name is Nancy. I'm Sasha's mom. I went to Greece for the first time in 1990. And I think the most magical thing that happened to me on that trip, well, there were two magical things. One was seeing the amphitheater at Epidaurus. And there was going to be a concert later that evening. And so there was a piano down at the bottom of the theater. And there wasn't a concert, but somebody was playing a little bit just to sort of get the sound. And I was up at the very top of the amphitheater and I could hear every word the person said and every note that he played on the piano. It was wonderful. And the other magical thing that happened was I accidentally met a lifelong friend. Her name is Froso. She lives in a little village called Arachova, which is near Delphi, where the oracle was. And I met her by accident. A friend of mine here in Denver, where I am now, had told me to look her up, but my traveling companion nixed that idea because she said, she's Greek, she'll want us to spend the night or have dinner and it will delay us. And so she refused to stop in Arachova. We went on to Delphi, but then the next morning we had passed by Arachova and it was so picturesque. It was a hillside village with lots of spring flowers in bloom. And so she decided she wanted to go back there and check it out. So we were walking along the main street of the town and there was a store with rugs on display outside, not in the window, but on the outside of the store. And my companion just went in and she started looking at the rugs and a woman came up to me and said something in English like, may I help you? And I figured, now wait a minute, this woman is a weaver, she has a store. And so she's bound to know this person I'm supposed to look up. So I said to her, do you know Frosoharitu? And she looked shocked and pointed to her chest and said, I'm Frosoharitu. And I told her why I had asked. And she asked if we could stay for dinner and spend the night. And I said, yes. And we just had this instant connection. It was just wonderful. She didn't speak much English at all. I didn't speak much Greek at all, but my traveling companion did speak Greek. And so she translated for us. And then in 2000, 10 years later, Sasha was traveling in Greece, and I told her to look up too. And so they bonded as well. And then in 2015, Sasha and Ken, my husband, and I went back together. And it was really fabulous to be with Froso together. And you have been many more times than I have, and I'm jealous.
Well, thanks for telling that story, because I have to interject my part of it now because it's such a great story. So I'm totally interrupting the introductions and I'm going to tell you the story. So in 2002, I did go to Greece, and Mom says, you got to go find this woman, Froso Haritu in arachova. So I'm like 20 and I have this massive backpack on, and I'm traveling with this dude. And arachova, you get off the train at one end of the town, and the whole town is just this sort of snaky street, Main Street, right? And I don't know where Froso's store is. I just know to look for rugs somewhere, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm carrying this heavy backpack. I'm walking down the middle of the road with this big, tall American guy, and I'm like, okay, this is awkward. And all these shopkeepers are coming out of their buildings, right, and just staring at us. So finally, I just say, Froso Haritu, because I don't speak any Greek either. And they just go that way. So I keep walking, and then I keep asking Froso Haritu, and they keep pointing, and I keep walking. And then finally there's two women outside of a bakery, and there's rugs actually on the left side of the road, but these two women are standing outside of the bakery, and I say Froso Haritu, and this woman makes that same face. That's me. And I find her, and she immediately, of course, actually she called down like some, I don't know, 7 or 8 year old girl to translate for us. And then I said, I'm Nancy Lively's daughter, Zeilig Lively's daughter. You know her from back when. She says, I know Nancy, and they'd been writing, right? And so they kept up this relationship. And she immediately said, all right, well, you guys are going to come stay at my house tonight, and you're staying at us. And she fed us like this amazing dinner and these amazing peaches. And then, it was all kind of pointing and body language. And at one point she closed the shop about 10 o'clock at night. And then she said, go to the cafe and like, go get a drink and get out of my hair while I close up my shop. So we did that. And then her husband, Dimitri, came down. Usually she takes a flight of stairs up the hill that's like 200 and some steps. And she did that like 4 times a day, right? But anyway, now she's getting older, and we also have these massive backpacks. So she calls her husband, Dimitri. He comes down the road and gets us. And in the van, she just pats my thigh, like you're my daughter, like you are adopted by me. Yes. And so long story short, then when we go back in 2015, in between those 10, 15 years, I had moved to France and learned some amount of French, and she had gotten involved with a French weaving group and had also learned some French. So now we were speaking like franglica, right? Like it was everything, but at least we had this bigger ability to communicate. And now, like recently when we were there on honeymoon, John and her had a moment of just Google Translate, and then like, just talking into the phone and then letting it translate and then giggling. And it was just the most adorable thing. So she's just hilarious. And it was a magical moment that you found her and then gifted her to me, and that now I can share her with you all. So thanks for the patience on the segue story. Okay, back to intros. Did you want to say anything else, Mom?
No.
Okay. Dad, would you like to go? Wait, you're muted.
I don't have much to say. I'm just here to offer support to you.
Thank you for being such an awesome dad. I'm just so lucky with my parents, you guys. Like really lucky. So Dad has not yet been to Greece, would like to go, right?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yes, absolutely.
I would love to take you sometime. Great. Marie and Kimberly, are either of you happily available to contribute yourselves?
I can speak. Hi. I'm also making dinner. That's why I'm not on camera.
No problem.
So hi, I'm Marie. I have not been to Greece, although I just was sleeping on a different island next to Isis's temple. So this is just my year of going to goddess places. So I'm excited for the whole thing.
Yeah, Marie's chasing love just like we are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least for the moment, there we are. Hi.
Hi, I was eating dinner, so that's why I was not on camera. I'm Kimberly, and I'm currently in New York City. I don't know what that weird thing is going on behind me, though. I have just had an incredibly magical month here. I rented a friend's apartment and have been going to shows and walking and seeing everything and listening to the languages that people are using as they're walking by me. It's just so rich. It's been such a rich experience. And I'm a connoisseur of splendor. That's one of my newest mottos. And so I want to continue this magic. I've never been to Greece. I've never been overseas ever. So I'm super excited. I've really been thinking a lot about what you said. What do I want to get out of this? And I wish there was something tangible that I could say. You know, I mean, I'm all about experiences and rather spend my money on experiences than things. And I loved your stories and the segues and Nancy, I want your experience. Like, I want someone to befriend me in that way so that I could gift her to my daughters and you know, kind of have that, you know, kind of reciprocal magic thing going on too. I would love to be adopted like you were, Sasha, because I have very little family, and you know, that would just be you know, dreamy. I think I want to have you know, just want some more magic, and I want to find ways to create that in my everyday life. I don't have to just go to New York City or Greece to experience it, but that it's just something that just automatically happens. And then when the shitty stuff happens, I can flow with that and know that magical moments around the corner, kind of thing. When I think about, I've been reading these books a little bit hesitantly because I'm a cynic when it comes to love. And so I'm really interested to see what I can learn from you. Irisanya, am I saying your name right? Irisanya?
Everybody, it takes a while for folks to get it. It's Irisanya. It's Irisanya. It's like Iris Anya. Sometimes that helps folks.
Anya. Irisanya. So, you know, I love men and I love women and I want to be open to a relationship, but I really like hanging out with myself and my dog. But, you know, I long for romance. I long for, you know, that intimacy, and yet the idea of someone's boots under my bed 24/7, you know, I'm like, well, maybe I just haven't met the right person, and that I would change and that would just be the best thing in the world. But I want to not be cynical about it. You know, when someone says, you know, their kids are getting married, I'm like, I'm so sorry. You know, like, I just haven't seen a lot of great models of good, healthy, wonderful, blissed out married people. And so, so I'd love to work on my cynicism there and not, you know, maybe it's not for me, but not be so cynical about other people, or maybe there's like some underlying jealousy there, but I need some healing when it comes to that. So that's pretty raw there. So that's what I'd like to come away with. I don't know what that looks like or what that will be like, but just to feel a little less yucky around that idea.
Kimberly, I just want to say I'm so thrilled that you're going on this trip. And I know that when we met years ago, I had darker hair and longer and darker hair. But I remember you so vividly, and I was so pleased that we've kept our acquaintance on Facebook.
Likewise, it's so wonderful to see you live and in person right now. And it's so good for me. Like, I'll tell people what I'm doing and they're like, well, who are you going with? I'm like, I know her mother, you know, and there's like some kind of some cred there, you know. I was like, I know her mother, and that means a lot to me and some of the people, you know, I talk with. So it's, you know, she's not just some kooky gal I met at this goddess thing, you know, like, she's solid. Her mom's good. And now I know her dad too, so I could say I know her parents. Nice to meet all of you.
I love it. I mean, you know what you're speaking to really warms my heart. You're speaking to a connection made in 2016, 17 at the very first Southern Sierra Goddex gathering. That's when you met. And you know what my wish is that every single person that has ever come to a Goddess gathering always comes back. And it doesn't work like that. I wish it did. But what I love is that we gain each other and that we enrich our circles and community with one another, and that those bonds that somehow formed in a weekend literally will last a lifetime. So my intention for this trip, right, is that we're going to know each other pretty well, 12 of us traveling together, somewhere between 8 and 12 of us. And we're going to, we're going to deal with each other. And like the boots under the bed. I mean, I have the best husband in the whole wide world, and he is still so annoying to live with occasionally. So I love the realness of your share and what we all deal with. And what I also love is that Greek, the language of Greek has like 7 different words for love. So one of the things that we will do while we're there is explore these different aspects of love. And in fact, before I'm really going to hand the mic to you soon, Irisanya, I promise. But I want to just quickly touch on the subject of this potential documentary. So I keep saying potential just because we do need to raise quite a lot of money to be able to bring Larry and crew and the things and do the things and, whatever we need to do about that. But if all goes well, especially with your help and support of sharing and reaching out to your people too, that it might be possible. The idea always at first the Goddex gathering was just like, let's get women together and have them like really working well together, and let's support a community that is in its off season that like could really use a massive influx of income to support those other women's business owners, right? And that's why we chose the place that we chose originally. And then each year I'd have these weird flashbacks, right? Like the first year was like a Trail of Tears flashback. I was just like on the Trail of Tears every time I picked up the phone and spoke to a woman. And then the second year was like this mermaidy magical fairy realm that we were all entering. And it was like people had these past lives and they were coming back to them and we were remembering each other. And then year 3 was Amazon women. And then year 4 was when the bees came. And when the bees came, a whole world opened up, actually. And we started not only researching specifically Oshun, who we honored that year, but the entire spectrum from multiple mythologies and religions of this love goddess. So for me, where I've always been with this is in search of the love goddess lineage, right? I didn't know Oshun. She is not my culture. And, I felt far away from her, even though I wanted to know her. And she schooled me pretty hard that year. But one of my access points was Aphrodite and where they share commonalities. But my soul loving Aphrodite, I could like get some of their crossover and then get to know Oshun a little better. Almost like, knowing a family member or a friend of someone else, and you can kind of get some things about who that other person is. But ever since then, I've literally been studying, researching, like tracing through time and space, the Goddex of love in all her forms, their forms, the forms. And so this specific trip is to like, let's meet Aphrodite in Greece. And then next time, let's do this. And then in Cambodia, we'll go, and so we're really on a long-term journey of chasing love. And that is the title that Larry and I have kind of landed on for the documentary, travel docu-series. So I just wanted to give you a chance, Larry, before you have to run, to say anything about that or.
Okay, the thing about like what makes reality shows really super fantastic are the people, right? I guess there's certain different things, but really it comes down to people. And just from meeting you guys, and I'm getting all these, I don't know, this is, first of all, I'm gonna manifest that I'm gonna be going with you guys. That's what I know. That's what I know. We're gonna have plenty of money. I'm gonna go. We're gonna do this thing. I can't wait to follow everybody around and get your guys' stories, and particularly why you're there, what you want to do, and really really define, you guys and Sasha, what it really means to chase that love in Greece, right? So yeah, I mean, wow, Sasha, this is pretty amazing. I'm very honored that you would ask me to be a part of this, and I'm just very happy and excited. So yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, and I think just to like tag on to that, you know, Kimberly, hearing even what you want to get out of it, it's like that's something so many people could relate to. And you know that we have, you know, some couples going, and some of them are working on getting pregnant, and like there's a lot of big stuff we're all dealing with around love. And I really do believe it, as I said in the first part of my little ode, is like, well, if love is all there is, then why not chase it? And why not have it? And why not bath and bathe and bask in it? So that's everything from self-love to, you know, friendship to whatever this wonderful thing with Froso is. And even her granddaughter, Ephrosyne, you know, she and I have also connected. And so it's passed through the generations on both sides. So, you know, I just want to say to you all that, like, I know Larry for a while now. We've known each other for a while. I was his boss
Yes.
long ago. And he actually, he worked at Barbizon with me and Laura Faye, and is just an amazing human being surrounded by women often.
All the time. I love it.
Like
I love
daughter,
it.
you know, all the
I
girls
love
he
it.
used to teach. But I think the intention of this journey, right, is to document the journey in the most sacred, honoring, respectful way that we possibly can. So anyway, thank you for being here in the midst of your daughter visiting and all of that, and we'll catch you on the flip side, unless there's anything else you want to say.
I'm super excited, and I will leave you with this. It's really when we do shoot this, and as we get closer, we'll know more. But a lot of ideas that Sasha and I have talked about. I mean, we spent what, 3 hours, 4 hours on a Zoom call? Yeah. And it's just, there's so much that can go on, but really it comes down to everybody's story and their journey, collectively and individually. And to be open and honest, that's what's going to be awesome about all this. You guys are going to be absolutely amazing. So thank you for the opportunity. I am so excited.
Thanks,
you,
Larry.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Ciao for meows. Okay, Irisanya, I passed this talking stick to you.
Oh, it's okay. I love hearing all the stories. I love hearing from folks. Hi. I'm going to do a little bit bigger of an introduction of me because that was a quick little thing just for folks. Also, I have books that I can show people, which I always like to do. So hi, I'm Irisanya Moon. My pronouns are she and they. Often my tagline is I'm an author, a witch, a priestess, a poet, Aphrodite devotee, and death care worker. I'm a whole bunch of things. But what's important to know for this part is that I too have always been searching for what is true in the heart. And sometimes that sounds like love, sometimes that sounds like purpose, sometimes that sounds like magic. When in 2007, I had like a kind of like a life-death experience, and in which they had to stop my heart a couple of times. And so ever since then, and it didn't work, spoiler alert, ever since then, I have been wondering about the heart, and I have been wondering about what it offers to us, how it can hold us, how it can heal it, how it can heal us. And that eventually led to me finding Aphrodite, who I never wanted to work with because I thought she was too easy. And I thought she was too superficial, that love was just something silly and something that, you know, for the youth. But when I realized that working with Aphrodite and with a lot of the Greek gods is about entering into the mysteries of love, entering into the mysteries of relationship, then I was like, oh, she's not easy. She's actually complicated. And she is exactly what I need, unfortunately. So here I am. I met Sasha because she took a class that I sort of birthed in the middle of the pandemic, because I thought that maybe folks needed, or other folks needed, unclear which one was true or both, a place to have safety, to express their heart, to find magic, to heal, to just be together. And I called it Aphrodite and Love Spells for the Tired Heart. Something that I should also say, because it's something that pops up a lot. I believe that life is a love spell. It is a phrase that I came up with a friend back in 2016 when I was doing another big witchy thing with some Greek gods, Demeter and Persephone. And the life as a love spell has become this motto for me about, we're always searching for love in some way, and sometimes we dance in and sometimes we dance out, but all of it is a spell that we're working over and over, and life is doing it with us and we're doing it with life. So that's sort of a taste of my magic. It's a very small, it's a teaspoon, but those are things that I think are important for folks to know.
I would actually love to interrupt you to give a little
Great.
testimonial about
Oh,
that
good.
course and about you. That course changed my life. That like put me on a different course. You know, I was tired in my heart of trying to date and trying to find the right guy and yada yada. And I had been seeing a guy for a while, and things were just moving slowly. It was good, but it was like not moving really. And then long story short, he disappears for 3 weeks, and in that time enter potential future husband, who is my husband now. And it was in this course when Irisanya was channeling Aphrodite on the last day, where we were allowed to ask questions. And I said to Irisanya, as Aphrodite's channel, I've got these two men both in love with me all of a sudden. It was friggin' dry spell and now it's raining. What's going on and what do I do about this? And she said Aphrodite said to me, why do you have to choose? And in fact, I didn't have to choose. And so for a month I dated both of them, and it was all very interesting, complicated, loving, weird, wonderful. And finally, there came a point where the decision needed to be made, but by then it was very clear. And in fact, you know, John, my husband, really stepped forward and stepped up and said, like, look, this is what I want. I want this to be forever, long-term. Let's do this. And it was that moment when, you know, and that love spell of creation and that magic, I really believe that called him forth. Like, I had been doing all this work to clear and clear and clear, but what called him in was that work with you. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for
absolutely.
my
I'm glad. I can give my own little testimonial here. So I like stories. Stories are how we connect, right? I could talk at you a whole bunch, but also stories. I'm a human being. So I also created that class in that moment because I was about to, and didn't realize it, going to go through a divorce and in the middle of the pandemic, and from a almost 20-year marriage. So that was also my calling to myself to remember that this is all still part of it too. And that my heart can go on. That's a cheesy thing to say perhaps, but also true. And also this year, I got a chance to teach at a camp in Australia that worked with Aphrodite. And I met someone at that camp, which came out of left field. I wasn't expecting that, wasn't trying for that. So Not that we just want to, put this just to Aphrodite, because she's great, amazing, but also there are other gods too in the Greek pantheon. And I actually want to like segue away from that for a second, because I posted something on my Instagram today that feels really appropriate for this moment. It's from Nikita Gill. She's written a whole bunch of beautiful poetry, things like that. But she posted, "I have been both Aphrodite and Hera. It just depends on who you ask amongst those I have loved and those who betrayed me."
Oh my God, I so have chills with that. And what a beautiful way to frame that and literally frame a moment we're going to deal with on the trip,
Absolutely.
which is the Gulf of Corinth and Aphrodite's mound and temple over here and Hera's sacred site down over here, where they were, the stories say of the jealousy and the get back at each other kind of ness. But yeah, like those two as a side of a coin, as both wife and lover, homemaker and party maker, maybe.
Well, and also the fact that all of us hold all of that, right? I can be the lover and I can be the betrayer. I can be both of those things. Hera can be both. Aphrodite can be both. Like maybe even thinking about, yes, this binary is a starting point, but also let's explode that binary into realizing like we actually hold all these pieces of divine and divine interpretation and divine story. So also that. But I like the I don't know, the Greeks are soap opera-y. I love it. They're the best for that. So I also wanted to say that, yes, Sasha talked about, like, I've written about a lot of Greek gods. And so I'm going to talk about who I've written about so far. I just got my new book. And so I'm going to show that off to folks. So Aphrodite, that was my first one. My name is for Iris, who is a Greek goddess, very little known, messenger of the gods, helped Hera out a lot, and Zeus. In the fall, Gaia. So this is all environmental activism and such. And then next year, this just came in the mail yesterday, is Artemis. And very pretty. I really like this book, but I don't say all that to show off. I do say all this to say that all of these different gods have different things to offer. And all of these sites that we're going to be on have different things to offer. And all of us showing up have different things to offer. It might be helpful to know that when I think of magic, when I think of gods and goddesses and things like that, I don't hold them as higher than me. I hold them as part of me, that I am also divine. I'm a divine expression of this moment. So when I am in devotion to the gods, I am in devotion, but not supplication. And that is an important thing for me. So it'll be something that I'll probably bring up a lot on this trip. Like, how can we build relationships versus following that blueprint of Christianity where there is one above all. I just think that we're all part of this, and we all have a stake in this heart and in this love and in this magic of the world. Honestly, because, if we're not all in relationship together, these stories don't continue to get told and the gods die, right? Why am I saying all that? Part of this is that, yes, I bring magic, I bring ritual, I bring knowledge, I bring some wisdom, hopefully. And in all of that, I also bring spontaneity and arriving for the moments that we're in. Like we have all the plans, right? But who knows what's going to show up? Who knows who we'll meet, or who knows what, we might trip and we have to do this one side, trip, and then we end up doing something else. We meet someone else and we meet ourselves in a different way. I thrive on spontaneity and not having a plan, because I think it allows us to be present. We will also have a plan, don't worry. Thankfully, Sasha's handling a lot of that part. But when we arrive at these sites, there are so many things we can do. There are so many ways we can interact. And what I'm hoping to do ahead of time, during things, probably after too, is to help people sort of jump into the magical landscape ahead of time, so that when we arrive, we're sort of like ripe and juicy for that. And that you can think about, what maybe do I want to call into my life, or maybe what do I want to think about in my life? And even if you don't have that, that's okay too. I think a really magical and important spell in our lives is the spell of surrender. The spell of not giving up, but releasing attachment to what happens next. That has been the best magic I've ever done, and I have done it kicking and screaming. So some of the things that I think I've said I'm going to bring, so there might be other things too, who knows? Like talking ahead of time, like, what are you thinking about? Are there gods that you want to learn more about? Is there a way that I can help you with that? I'm also going to create like a little packet of stuff so people have information about everybody, because there are a lot of gods. They can get a little confusing. You don't have to know everything, but just like when you're building any relationship, it helps to know something about them. It helps to know maybe some offerings that they might like, or things that you might want to know about their personality, with the caveat that building a relationship with anybody often means you learn something new that wasn't in the book. At least I've figured that one out. I want to also offer practices and magical tools that you can use during the trip, before the trip, in the midst of the trip, afterwards. Bring all that stuff out into the world. I agree, magic should not just be in sacred sites. It should be everywhere, because it is everywhere. We are, as humans, we are the elements. We are the energy. We don't have to go anywhere for it. We are. I think, like we sort of say in this trip tagline, we just need to remember. And if this is a trip that can help folks remember, then it has done exactly what it needs to do. I'm also really, really excited by, inspired by the idea that we can create rituals as a group that has never done ritual together. I do that a lot in some of the teaching and traveling that I do. So I'd love to do that with people who in the beginning don't really know each other, and then know a lot, and then know more stuff, and then go, we can now do this with just looking at each other. At least that's the way I envision it. Maybe it'll be different. That's fine too. A couple of things that I think I would also like to bring is maybe getting together as a group in the morning or at night, whatever we end up finding our rhythm is, and maybe creating an intention for every day that we can just hold. It's not about being really prescriptive in that, but more about like, can I learn to hold an intention with a group? Can I learn to hold an intention with myself? So I'm thinking about that. I'm also more than happy to get on calls with folks to like talk through things. Zoom, doesn't have to see our faces either if you don't want to talk things through if people are like, I just have a lot of questions, I'm not really sure, and I don't want the whole group to hear this, things like that. You don't know me, understandable, but I am an incredibly safe person to talk to. I think I'm really well versed in holding space for really difficult things. And one of the ways that I would like to share with you that might be one of the things about me that I'd like to share that might be helpful is, yes, I talked about going through a divorce. I also have lost both parents in the last few years, and I've lost a couple of mentors. My life has been all of this, and Aphrodite and love and magic has helped me through it. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been simple. But if you need somebody to sit with you and you're going through the worst of the worst, I want to be there with you. I will not look away. I will sit with you, even if we say nothing. That's my hope. Part of this for me too is about not just this self-service and this self-love or all the different kinds of love, which I think is just great. The more I've learned about that, the better. Like, how can I be in service also to those around me, right? Because if I'm this like energized, inspired, magicified person, this also is a service to others around me, the people who didn't come, the people who couldn't. I think about the rippling effect of that and how that follows the waves and how that moves out into the world and creates this collective love spell, even if people don't know it. I can tell you that I have noticed it happen in my life, and I would love for it to happen in yours if that is something that sounds good. I think that those are the things that I wanted to say overall. So maybe I'll take a pause for a second because I need a sip of water. Are there any thoughts, questions, anything that's coming up? And I have a magical practice that we could do.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think I just love what you said about the ripple effect. That has been the intention the entire time, and we've seen it happen in communities after we've, people have had that magic-ified experience and gone out and magic-ified that area, including you, Kimberly, including Marie, like including me, including all of us, that we've gotten something enough to take home with us that we can actually share it with our people in our communities. So I am super aligned with that. Oddly, this is coming to be said, but I want to say that because you mentioned not only having to lose your parents in a short succession. I apologize for that. Not that it's mine, but just that's hard. And also your mentor. And in a way, we had a mentor for Southern Sierra Goddex gathering named Tarni Falloon. And she was the only woman, actually, the only person to be at all 6 gatherings along with myself. She came to every single one. And then after she married me and John in last September, she passed away suddenly in December. And Marie and I have talked a lot about this, but there's like a gap. For me, there's a gap. I'm like, I get real mad at her sometimes and I'm like, oh, I'm dealing with this thing. Where are you? Oh, great. You're dead. Thanks. It's my sense of humor, I suppose. But my question to you is like, what has been your experience, or how could you, I feel like, I'm like, I'm not that old. I'm not the elder, but I am in some ways. And like, we're moving into this other phase. But sometimes it feels like without full on proper mentorship. And yet we can get the guidance from them and from the divine and all that. But, I don't know, what would you say to that? Because in a way, like, on the Monday before she passed away, I was on the phone with her. Are you in for Greece? She was like, heck yeah, we're going to Greece. I'm there. Us too, we're all going. And then Thursday she was gone, So for a while I was like, I'm not doing it. We're done. I'm just done. I'm done. And then it was like, no, we need to like reincarnate actually. So Marie helped me come up with the name Galactic instead of, because we're not in the Southern Sierra Mountain Range anymore, but Galactic Goddex Gathering. And that way I felt like Tarni could be invited, and will be there with us. But I don't know if you can glean my question, which is just like, what do we do when there's that lack of mentorship for one another?
I think we come together. I think that's one of the things that pops into my head right away, is that one of the things I say a lot in magical spaces, it's almost a joke at this point. Almost everything I do, I will say at some point, we are never alone. You are never alone. We're actually never alone. While certain people will leave and certain situations will end, we're never alone, because love is everywhere, because help is everywhere, because I have to believe, at least, that this world is rooting for us to succeed. I know that sounds weird, but I don't think I could live in a world where that wasn't the case. So one of the things I think I would offer when I hear all of this is that you cannot love without losing. You can't. You will lose every single thing that you love. At some point, you will. But in that is a dare or a challenge to love anyway, to love even past when people are gone, love them into existence through stories, love them into memory with doing the things that they would love to see you do, that they would want you to continue because that's their love. I think that when I think of the people that I've lost, I haven't really lost them. It's just different now. that's not always settling. It's not always easy. And it's definitely been a long time to get to that. But I can look at myself sometimes in the mirror, and I can listen to myself talk sometimes, and I hear them and I see them. I teach because my mentor taught me this way. I'm not exactly like that anymore, but I have a weird little smile because that's what my mom did. So I don't know if that's helpful, but
That is
I don't think,
helpful.
I don't think there's ever an answer to any of that, but it's, for some reason, I find it so soothing to know. Maybe soothing's not the right word, but it feels really real to know that everything I love, I will lose, which is not settling, but I know deep in my heart that I have to love so completely while it's here. I can't wait. I have to jump on the thing. I have to apparently date somebody that lives a zillion miles away from me. You know, I have to do the things because that's where my heart is calling. And why not?
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for just reminding me that it's when we come together, you know,
Yeah.
that just even hearing myself say that, like Marie contributed this and Tarni contributed that, and Kimberly and my mom are bringing this back from like day one to now. And what a journey it's been. Even my sweet dad has like been caring about this and cheering us on for years about this gathering. So thanks.
Yeah. And I also just realized I don't have this written down on my little sheet of things, but also during the trip, you know, I have been a magical practitioner for like 20 odd years, more than 20 years. So another thing that I can offer to folks that I don't know why I didn't write down, you know, I do possessory work, and I do aspecting, as it's called in reclaiming, where it is inviting the divine into me to have them speak through me. Happy to do that for various folks. I have aspected Aphrodite a zillion times, but and Iris, but I don't know about the other ones. But anyways, that's maybe an offering too, I think, especially in the spaces where they're celebrated. And I can also teach people how to do that. So that might be fun.
That will be fun. Okay, well, so before we do this magical practice, I just would love to just give Kimberly and Marie especially a chance to ask anything, say anything, tell us things you want, anything there that might be there for you, logistics wise, magic wise, whatever wise.
Well, I just want to thank you for sharing what you did. I lost my mom 5 years ago in July, and it was the beginning of a series of losses in my life. And a year ago, exactly a year ago, I wanted to, I did not want to be alive. I mean, very literally, it took more energy to stay alive than I had.
Yep.
So I had to get some help. And, you know, it was a huge and long and painful process of surrendering to the help, to get the help. And so I've always imagined this kind of trip that I've had this month. This is not, I mean, it's exactly what I imagined. This is the kind of thing that I'm supposed to be doing and enjoying and working while I'm doing it. And, you know, I've had this vision for a long time. And yet I think, having been in the lowest, deepest, darkest place, I recognize things are temporary. And it's kind of what I hear you saying, like, we will lose what we love. I had so many things that I thought were going to be forever, you know, and I knew my mom wouldn't live forever, but I certainly didn't expect that she would die so soon. I was in a home that I thought was going to be my forever place where I would raise grandkids, not there anymore. And so accepting that things are temporary, and finding like some learning to stay grounded in the liminal spaces has been part of my journey. And I think I would like to just become more quick to do that, that it's more of a natural go to, and all the processing, like using all the tools that I've learned to make sure that I don't go off the rails, which is where I had been. And so I'm living kind of tri-locationally now. I have a place in California. I don't have a place. I have a space in California. And then I've been in Kansas since July to help take care of my dad who has vascular dementia. And then I've made this relationship in New York with a friend. And so the plan is I'm going to be here every May and November for the month. So a couple months of the year, I'll come to this place. And I just made plans, and I hadn't told you this, Sasha. I'm actually going to go to Europe in July with 3 other single girlfriends. And we're going to fly into London and spend a couple days in London, and then fly to Munich and do a tour of some countries right around in there, and be gone for it's another 10 to 12 days. So that'll be my first trip overseas. And I'm going with a friend who does lots of overseas traveling. And one of the 4 of us is first time for her too. And they're all very lovely, lovely women, but also very basic. I tried to talk them into this trip, and they were like, "Ooh, it's a little too, whatever." And 2 of them were teachers and couldn't get away that long. Let's see, I was saying that because, I figure that's going to be kind of a practice run for going somewhere else. And so like a logistic question, like, how do you pack everything you need in one bag? And how do you know what you'll need? And, that's been one thing that's kind of like got me a little stressed out. And then I'm thinking, it's not like we're going to a place that doesn't have things you can get, like, if I don't have it, I'll go get it, and it's, so I'm very easily, I can kind of go with the flow, I worry a little bit about my physical ability to keep up with you young people. And when you were like 200 steps, I broke my leg 2 years ago. And so I'm a little bit nervous about falling sometimes. But yet I've been averaging 4.5 miles a day here this whole month, sometimes up to 10. So anyway, those are just some of the thoughts that come to my mind.
I'm just going to pause you for a second, because those are such great things to come to your mind. Logistically, I'll handle that. So I am going to give you a packing list. It is recommended that you travel with a bag. And if you need to check that bag, if it's like that big and you need to, okay, as long as you can lift it or carry it. Now, that being said, those are just for a few moments. And generally speaking, we will be extraordinarily well taken care of with our own minibus, our own private driver, and we'll have a ton of support and help. But it is Europe, and there are, for example, just streets that they cannot drive down, or a staircase up to the Acropolis. There is an elevator. They've recently put an elevator in, but there are some things that we will choose to spend our energy on, like hiking up Delphi. That's a hike, but it's not undoable, and it's not difficult. It's just a little slow going, and you go. But for that rest of the day, we won't be on our feet. We'll be driven, and we'll be being careful. And it's been good to have a person in my mind thinking, like a background of somebody like, okay, this person might be pretty pregnant by that point. This person's a little older, like, okay, I think we can balance this and make sure that everybody is like well taken care of. So, there are moments, my mom can vouch if you want to hear any of her broken arm stories, but there's moments where you will have to like deal with a bag moving up a few stairs in a new space, but we will have you, and I will have your back, and you will, for the most part, be extraordinarily well taken care of. And if there's a need for something more, we can easily grab a driver or whatever that we might need in those moments. In terms of packing, I will give you all a packing list as a guideline. And I actually recommend leaving space in your case, because you will want to shop while you're there. Oh, I don't have flip-flops. Oh no, I have to go buy a really cool pair of gladiator sandals handmade by this Greek man. Okay, great. So there is certainly a good excuse to not pack everything.
I will learn something about Delphi. It's not a hike like hiking in the mountains. You go from one area to another, and you stop at each area and feel the energy and think about what you're seeing. So it's not just like climb a mountain.
Exactly. And Delphi's such a good example of that, where when Ken and I, my stepdad and I walked up together, it's 7 levels. And it actually, we felt it really move up our chakras. And by the time we were at the top, we were almost like, we were just full of excitement and elation and energy. It was not draining at all.
Right?
Thank you. That I feel good about it. I'm not even really worried about any of that. Those are just some thoughts that I had. So, and like I said, we've walked a lot here. So the only other thing I'm a little nervous about doing is leaving my dog, who's my service dog and has been with me every day for the last 2 years. And so he's gone to every Broadway show with me, and he's, you know, kind of my lifeline, but he'll be in good hands. So I'm not too worried about that. But that I know there'll be other people around that will, like you said, serve. And we'll be there for each other in a good way.
I mean, I'm curious if we could bring the dog. If you want to, we can. There's probably just a couple of logistics that we'd need to handle, but if that was the thing, we could do that.
That would be amazing. I've heard, you know, going overseas, there's like a whole quarantine thing, and it's a so
To be quarantined.
yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you though.
Also, Kimberly, it's not like you're going to the opera. So you don't have to take any dress up clothes.
Oh, that's good. I tell you, I've been slipping into these Broadway shows in a hoodie and leggings, you know, because I'm getting my tickets the day of, and like, oh, I don't want to go back to the apartment. I'm just gonna go. And you know, and I'm walking everywhere, so I'm not gonna be wearing nice shoes, you know, here in New York. And so that's good though. I don't need to be going to the opera or dressing too. Perfect. Good. Good.
Okay, so Marie, do you have any questions or concerns? I know this is your year of traveling, and you've also just arrived home.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any concerns. I'm just kind of excited to go talk to the land there. So
Yeah, Marie's amazing at talking to the land, talking to plants, talking to fairies, talking to source. Yeah.
yep. I mean, my biggest thing is like, am I gonna have time to come home after Costa Rica? But we'll see. I just don't know if I'm flying straight there or not. I think I'm probably gonna come home first. So,
Marie,
Yeah.
where do you live, Marie?
oh, I live in Ohio near Columbus.
So I'm going to put something else out there.
Yeah.
This is a trip Sasha, you know the situation with my daughter. I have a daughter who's 28, and I wish she could go with us. So I guess really without saying much more, if you can think about that, or see if anyone has some thoughts about that as we get closer. Do you see that happening?
I love that. So you're asking for our intention to help you manifest your daughter's coming with us.
Thank you for putting those words. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yes, I will put my magic to that. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've just had a wonderful surprise joiner who is actually Regan, who's the tour guide.
I have to go. I'm sorry. It was
Good night,
lovely to
Mommy.
be with you all. Bye.
Hi, Nancy.
Bye, Kimberly.
So Regan is the one that helped me put this whole trip together. I mean, I had planned it like 3 years ago, but she actually helped me implement it, and with her company, you know, made all the like arranged who our travel guide is going to be, all of our hotels, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm still trying to talk her into coming. So we also bonded over funny little places. We both lived in Scotland and Edinburgh at the same time. And I love an island. We both love the same island, Paros, which we'll pit stop on. Well, you're muted, Regan. No?
Yes, hi. I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry. Yeah, and I said and San Diego too. We've just been following each other around.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know. Hi, yeah, nice to meet everyone. I'm Reagan. So Sasha's got it. You got it the whole trip though. You know what you're doing. So.
Well, I mean, I just so appreciate you working with all of our interesting ideas and just being so open to all of it. And then me being like, no, I want this place, not that place. I want this. And so you know, usually you just like create a trip for somebody, and we really asked you to help create our trip. So
Yes, it's definitely special, but it's amazing. That also makes it fun. It's amazing that way. So, and Greece is that spot that a lot of people do special, that they want to go, they want certain things. You're not doing typical a lot. So yeah, it was fun so far. Yeah, it's been great.
well, thank you. And thanks for
thank you.
popping on to be with
Yeah,
us.
sorry I'm late. I had my son's graduating, so we had a whole dinner. So yeah, sorry.
Yay, congratulations, son.
All
It
right,
always
I'll mute
freaks me
myself
out.
back up. Get back to what you're doing.
It's
Sorry to
good.
interrupt everyone.
No, it's so perfect. It's just so funny. Whenever I do that thing now, I'm always like, wait, I thought I was still like 14, and so are you, right? No, we have
He's
kids that are
18.
old enough to graduate. Okay.
Yeah, someone just posted pictures from like first grade. I don't, it goes quick. So yeah. But yay, the other hand. So yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you guys. I mean, I guess otherwise I'll say with anyone that's traveling, like at the end, we have it going with a flight. If anyone's staying and they need help, whatever, if flights are, you know, I can help with that as well, or just even guide you on your own, whatever you need. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. Well, then if you have the space and time, what I'd love to do next, I think, is do this short magical practice from Irisanya. And so, you know, you really get the gift tonight. And then, Reagan, if you're able to just stay for a few minutes, we might have a couple of questions. I want to share a couple of things with you, and or we can talk later.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, great. Anything else that's up that wants to be spoken or said now before we change gears? Kim, I couldn't tell, Kimberly, was that a face of yes or no?
I can wait, but the flight thing. So I was mentioning this flight, we're going to London. So we get on, we finally get the flights done. It was more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And I had set up some like flight like notifications when they, and so like after I booked it, I get these notifications that like they dropped like $300 or something, you know, and I'm like, dang, I should have waited. And so I'm like, no, it doesn't even matter. So I get a little like, you know, anxious about getting the best, not even like the best deal, but like the most convenient or the most, you know, efficient, or, you know, anyway, that. So when you mentioned flights, Reagan, I'm like, okay, I might, you know, take some help with that.
Different flights, but with that, if you already booked, it depends on your flight. If you get those alerts, screenshot that, because a lot of airlines, if you can show, hey, it was $300 5 days after I booked, they'll honor that and refund your money. It depends on the airline. It depends on how you booked it, but it's always worth a shot.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, we could talk more about that later.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, I'm muting myself. Nice
All
meeting
right, me
everyone.
too. Irisanya, take it away.
Okay. So this is just a real simple practice that I wanted to bring tonight. It's sort of a heart blessing and a sort of a way to, for not only those of us who are here right now, but those who might be listening later, to sort of send our intentions out to Greece right now so that when we get there, we get to meet them. Okay. So all you're going to need to do is, if you want to close your eyes, you can. If you don't want to, that's okay. But just allow yourself in this moment to maybe take a couple of breaths. You don't need to do anything fancy. You don't need to do anything that's particularly intentional in this moment. But just take a few breaths and just reacquaint yourself with your body, with how it's feeling right now, with any excitement, with any nervousness. Just allow yourself to feel that, feel who you are in this moment. There is no need to change. There is no need to fix. There is no need to be anything but who you are in this moment. And know that if you have any moments where you start to feel a little less unsettled, maybe you can just take a breath and let go of anything that doesn't need to be here, that is not serving you in this moment. And from where you are in this moment, I invite you to maybe sink, drop, allow your awareness to settle in the space of your heart. Now, sometimes it helps to touch that place, or maybe you don't need to. Maybe you need both hands, one hand. And just notice where your heart is right now. Yes, it's in your body, it's protected. But where is your heart right now? That part of you beating life from center to edge, bringing back from edge to center. Constant movement, constant flow, constant change. The fueling and the release. And you don't have to do anything for this to happen. And I invite you to get a little quieter in that heart. Settling into one of the chambers, or maybe you're a person who can just feel into the warmth of your heart and into the whispers of your heart. And that this is possible. And in those chambers, and I invite you to ask your heart what it really wants. And you don't even have to say, what do you need? It's just, what do you want? What do you desire? What is the magic that you want, the love that you want, something else? It is. And as that starts to form, as that starts to maybe become clear, really experience it with all the senses that you can. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Maybe you can even imagine what it might taste like. Temperature. Until you know it so well. Until you know it well. Widens a little bit. Begins to become bigger. Maybe even fueled by your heart. A little bit larger till it's almost straining against rib cage. And it easily can move out of that. Moving as though a cloud around your body or something else that makes sense to you. Maybe it starts to fill your lungs and your breath, and it just becomes a part of you. And it becomes big enough for you to know and understand and believe, even if it's just for a moment. Again, you don't need to change it too much, but maybe start to feel that fill your lungs, fill the space that is you, fill the wide as you want it to be. And whenever you feel like that is big enough for you, wide enough for you, encompassing all of the want and desire that you are calling into being, that is calling you into being, I invite you to take a deep breath and hold it. And when you're ready to send it off to Greece, I invite you to blow that breath out sharply and forcefully out, trusting that it will arrive in the spaces that you will arrive. Maybe it takes more than one breath. Maybe it takes multiple. Maybe it takes a loud sound because you're in your own room and we don't have to be quiet when, no one else is watching. And in the moment of letting go, I invite the possibility that this is also a moment to surrender to whatever that becomes on the other side. Because it is going on a trip, just like we will. And who knows what it will encounter on the way. May all of your hearts be so very blessed. And you can do this all the time.
And may your heart be blessed.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for that, Lushness. And thank you all for your time and attention and energy. I'm gonna deem the space officially closed, and thank you to Aphrodite for being with us. So to all of you, stay if you can, go if you must, in love and trust, and may the love of the Goddex be ever in your heart. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Reach out if you need anything. So tell your friends. Come on, we're going to Greece.
Oh,
All right, I do have to actually go.
no problem. We
I have
can
another
we can
meeting.
reach you in.
You can. I'll be more attentive to that. I've been doing a lot of traveling and I'm traveling the next couple of weeks. But after that, I'll be a little bit more present. So magic takes me a bunch of places. So. Till the next time.
Till the next time. So maybe we should just schedule a call, Reagan, because I want to. Here, you can unmute. Oh, let me.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm
hold on.
speaking
Let me
with
just stop.
Greece in the next few days, so